Hello everyone, this is your educator Priyanka Thakur teaching you life sciences and welcome you all on our YouTube channel Gurmantra Shikshaka Granth. So today in this video we are going to cover connective tissue. This is the animal tissues part 2. In part 1 we have already covered the epithelial tissue. Okay, so let's start with our today's topic, which is connective tissue. We are going to discuss about connective tissue in detail. Yes, you heard it right. We are going to study this connective tissue in detail. Okay, let's start it. What is connective tissue? First of all, why it is called connective tissue? Because, tell me, because it binds the organ together. That's why it is known as connective tissue. Yes, right. Okay. It is the most abundant and widely distributed tissues in the body. Okay. And what is the function of connective tissue? It is going to protect and support the organs. It binds them together. It stores the energy reserves as fat and provides immunity to disease-causing organisms. So, you will come to know about some connective tissue which will be providing the immunity to disease-causing organism. Some of the connective tissues will be storing the energy in the form of fats. Okay, so there are two basic elements of connective tissue: cells and extracellular matrix. Connective tissue arises from mesenchymal cells. Remember, connective tissue is mesodermal in origin and it arises from mesenchymal cells, right? Extracellular matrix consists of protein fibers and ground substance. What extracellular substance consists of? It consists of some protein fibers and ground substance. And these protein fibers are collagen fiber, elastin fibers and reticular fiber. Reticular fibers are exactly type 3 collagen fibers. Extracellular matrix is secreted by connective tissue itself. So you also have to remember connective tissue is highly vascular except cartilage. Cartilage is avascular. Okay. Connective tissue is highly vascular except cartilage, which is avascular. Now let's know about the classification of connective tissue. Mainly classified as embryonic connective tissue and mature connective tissue. As the name is indicating, when we say the word embryonic connective tissue, we understand that this tissue is going to be present primarily in the embryo. So embryonic connective tissue include mesenchyme and mucous connective tissue, right? Mesenchyme, it is found exclusively in the embryo and all the connective tissue ultimately arises from this tissue. So this mesenchyme is found where? Exclusively in the embryo, and it ultimately all other connective tissue is arises from mesenchyme. It has mesenchymal cells and those mesenchymal cells are embedded in the ground substance. This mesenchymal tissue is located under the skin and along the developing bone of embryo. Sometimes you can see some mesenchymal cells present in the adults also. Mucous connective tissue. Mucous connective tissue is exactly a primitive connective tissue, right? It is found in umbilical cord. Remember this thing, mucous connective tissue is found in the umbilical cord. Okay, mucous connective tissue is composed of fibroblast like cells which can be spindle or stellate shaped. Okay, mesenchyme is exclusively found in the embryo, but some of the mesenchymal cells are also present in the adults, but mucous connective tissue is present in the umbilical cord. Okay, now let's talk about second type of tissue, which is mature connective tissue. So it is mainly categorized into 4 types, or you can say 5 types, like connective proper, cartilage, bone, blood. Connective proper is further classified into two subclasses like loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue is divided into areolar, adipose and reticular tissue. On the other hand, dense connective tissue is divided into dense regular, dense irregular and elastic. So, mature connective tissues, these cartilage, bone and blood, these are specialized type of connective tissue. So, mature connective tissue is divided into four main categories, which are connective proper, cartilage, bone and blood. Okay, connective tissue proper. Connective proper is further divided into loose and dense. Loose connective tissue includes areolar, adipose and reticular tissue, while dense connective tissue includes dense regular, dense irregular and elastic. Let's talk about loose connective tissue first, which include areolar connective tissue. What is areolar connective tissue? See, areolar connective tissue, it act as the universal packing material between the other tissues. It consists of fibers, like it consists of collagen fibers, elastic fibers and reticular fibers, and it also contains several kinds of cells like fibroblasts, okay, macrophages and other mast cells. Okay, so function of areolar tissue is what? It support and bind the other tissue. It forms the framework of epithelium. It helps in defending against infection. Remember one thing. What should you remember? Remember that when a body is inflamed, okay, the areolar tissue in the area soak up the excess fluid as a sponge and the affected area swells and become puffy, a condition called edema. See, whenever you are hurt, like you are hit by something, okay, you see there is an inflammation at that place. So areolar tissue is present in the subcutaneous layer, okay, it is present beneath the skin. So that areolar tissue then soak up the excess fluid and it acts as a sponge, and then the affected area swell up because the areolar tissue there soak up the excess fluid, and that's why that affected area become puffy, and such a condition is called edema. Remember, I should have highlighted it. Such a condition is called edema. It is found in subcutaneous layer. Then comes the adipose tissue or body fat. Okay, as the name is suggesting, adipose tissue is going to store the fat. This is again loose connective tissue which is composed of mainly adipocytes. Adipose tissue is composed of adipocytes. What is the function of this adipose tissue? It stores the energy in the form of lipids, mainly triglycerides, although it also acts as cushions and insulate the body. Okay, the two type of adipose tissue are white adipose tissue and brown adipose tissue, and adipose tissue is found in a specific location which are referred to as adipose depots, and it is actually mainly present in beneath the skin. You can see adipose tissue wherever areolar connective tissue is present. Okay, adipose tissue is composed of what? Adipocytes. Okay, next is reticular connective tissue. This tissue resembles areolar connective tissue, but in areolar connective tissue, as I told you, there are what? Elastic fibers, there are collagen fibers and reticular fiber as well. And in reticular connective tissue, we will see mainly reticular fibers which form a delicate network. This reticular connective tissue is limited to certain sites, and it mainly form the framework that can support lymph nodes, spleen and bone marrow. Fine, remember this thing. Reticular fiber in the lymph nodes filter lymph and remove bacteria. This is the dense connective tissue, dense regular. See why loose connective tissue is called so? Because there is loose arrangement of fibroblasts and fibers. Like collagen fiber, elastin fibers. Fibroblasts are the cells which form the fibers. Then regular dense and irregular dense. Dense connective tissue. In dense connective tissue, we will see there is a densely packed fibers and fibroblasts. And when these fibers and fibroblasts are oriented in the same direction, they are arranged in a parallel fashion, they are called regular dens. See, collagen fibers, fibroblasts, nuclei. Okay, then irregular dens, these fibroblasts and these fibers, see, these are the fibroblasts, these are the fibers, these are oriented in the opposite direction, like in the different, not a definite direction, they are mostly oriented in the opposite direction. Such a tissue is known as irregular dense tissue. Let's come to know something else about the dense regular tissue. See, this consists of closely packed bundles of collagen fibers running in the same direction, like running in the same direction and parallel to the fibroblasts. And these collagen fibers are slightly wavy and stretch a bit. These collagen fibers provide the tensile strength, and that's why there's the formation of tendons, aponeurosis, and ligaments. You know that tendons connect bone to the muscle and ligament connects bone to the bone. Okay, they provide attachment between the various structure. This tissue forms the fascia, which is fibrous membrane that wrap around the muscles, blood vessels, and nerves. Remember this thing? Dense regular connective tissue forms the fascia, which is a fibrous membrane that wraps the muscle, blood vessels, and nerves. Okay, fine. Fascia is formed of dense regular connective tissue. Then dense irregular tissue. This has the same structural element as the dense regular, but the bundles of collagen fibers are much thicker now and are arranged irregularly. This is found in the area where tension is exerted from many different directions. It is the part of skin dermis area and in the joint capsule of the limbs. Dense irregular tissue is mainly found in the area where tension is exerted from the different directions. Okay, and mainly where it is found in the skin dermis and joint capsule of the limbs. Right, fine. Having any problem? No, then great. Okay, it also dense irregular connective tissue, it provides strength. Okay, you can see it in heart valves. You can see the perichondrium. The perichondrium is what? Perichondrium is also dense irregular tissue, and perichondrium surrounds the cartilage, and periosteum surrounds the bone. Perichondrium surrounds the cartilage. Dense irregular connective tissue that surrounds the cartilage is called perichondrium, and dense irregular connective tissue that surrounds the bone is periosteum. Okay, so let's talk about now elastic connective tissue. Okay, the main fiber that form this tissue are elastic in nature, and these fibers allow the tissue to recoil after stretching. This is especially seen in the arterial blood vessel and walls of the bronchial tubes. Okay, you will see elastic connective tissue in arterial blood vessels and the walls of bronchial tubes. Okay, cartilage. This is a flexible connective tissue. Cartilage is a flexible, pliable, okay, pliable cartilage tissue. It consists of a dense network of collagen fibers and elastic fibers. Okay, it is mainly found where joints between bones, rib cage, ear, nose, elbow, knee, ankle, bronchial tubes, and the intervertebral disc. We will see cartilage. Okay, these are formed of special cells called chondroblast. Chondroblast matures into chondrocytes. So cartilage is formed of what? Cartilage is formed of chondrocytes. Unlike other connective tissue, cartilage is avascular. We read about epithelial tissue which is avascular. Cartilage is also avascular, and it is classified into three different types: elastic cartilage, hyaline cartilage, and fibrocartilage. Elastic cartilage is just similar to that of hyaline cartilage. I should have mentioned hyaline cartilage first. But see, what is the function of elastic cartilage? It is going to maintain the shape of and structure, while it also allows flexibility. It will allow the flexibility of some structure, but it will also cause the maintenance of that structure. Okay, it is mainly found in like external ear known as auricle, and also in the epiglottis, lid of your pharynx. Okay, you will see epiglottis, like lid of your glottis. Okay, epiglottis, you will see elastic cartilage in external ear and epiglottis. Then hyaline cartilage, this is the most abundant cartilage whose matrix appear transparent or glassy when we see this cartilage under the microscope. Actually, you will see a bluish whitish shiny ground substance with fine collagen fibers and many chondrocytes. What is the function of this hyaline cartilage? Is provide support while providing pads for shock absorption. See, cartilage, elastic cartilage maintains the structure along with the flexibility. Hyaline cartilage provide the support, okay, while providing pads for shock absorption. The major part, what are the major part where you will see the hyaline cartilage, like embryonic skeleton. In embryonic skeleton is mostly formed of hyaline cartilage, costal cartilages of ribs, and the cartilages of nose and trachea and larynx. These are formed of trachea. You will in trachea, hyaline cartilage is present. In nose, hyaline cartilage is present. In ribs, hyaline cartilage is there. In ear, elastic cartilage is there. Okay, right? Then fibrocartilage. It is a blend of both hyaline cartilage and dense regular connective tissue. It is compressible but resists the tension. Okay. This fibrocartilage is found where strong support and the ability to withstand heavy pressure are required. So it is mainly found in intervertebral disc of bony vertebrae and knee meniscus. So fibrocartilages are found in intervertebral disc of bony vertebrae and knee meniscus. Where does this fibrocartilage is present? It is present in intervertebral disc of bony vertebrae and knee meniscus. Okay, in ear we have elastic cartilage. Now remember all these things. Okay. Now let's talk about bone. Bone is the supportive and protective tissue. Bone is a living tissue. Being a form of connective tissue, this bone tissue, okay, it consists of cells and extracellular organic matrix. Okay, this extracellular matrix is formed of protein osin. It is calcified, will consist of 70% salts of calcium phosphate, or we know as hydroxypeptide. Okay, 30% hydroxypeptide, 30% fibrous protein, which are osin. Bone cell, also known as osteocytes, and collagen fibers are embedded in solid matrix. Okay, as I told you, dense. You have studied about perichondrium and periosteum. Okay, I told you about perichondrium and periosteum. What is periosteum exactly? I told you. Do you remember? Periosteum? The tissue that surround the bone. Exactly, dense irregular connective tissue that surround the bone. So each bone is enclosed in the layer of a white fibrous connective tissue, which is exactly the dense irregular tissue called periosteum. And hyaline cartilage, cartilage is surrounded by perichondrium. Remember, fibrocartilage is not surrounded by any perichondrium, while hyaline cartilage and elastic cartilages are surrounded by the perichondrium. Matrix is arranged in concentric circles called lamellae. Okay, matrix is arranged in concentric circles called lamellae, and number of osteoblast cells and osteocytes are arranged between lamellae in the fluid-filled space called lacunae. I will show you the structure and then you will got to know about the lacunae and lamellae as well. Each lacunae has cytoplasmic processes called canaliculi which connect with other canaliculi. Okay, so each lacunae will have canaliculi and that will connect with other canaliculi. Osteoblasts are active cell, osteocytes are inactive osteoblasts, and cells that degrade the wasted cells. Okay, these are known as osteoclasts. Okay, that break down the old bone, I can say. Okay, that cells that break down the old bone, these are known as osteoclasts. Osteoblasts are active cells and osteocytes are inactive osteoblasts. This is the structure of a bone. This is the Haversian canal, you will know about it. Okay, this ring, this is a lamellae, another ring is a lamellae. Okay, the space between these lamellae, this is what we call lacunae, and the cells and fibers are embedded in this particular space. Okay, compact bone. Compact bone is arranged in concentric ring structures called osteons. Like I'm now telling you about the classification of bone. Bone is further of two types, compact bone and spongy bone. Compact bone is arranged in concentric ring structure which are called osteons. Okay, and osteons will have Haversian canal system. Osteon also known as Haversian canal system. In the center of each ring, okay, is a structure called Haversian canal, right? Compact bone is arranged in a concentric ring structure called osteon. In the center of each ring is a structure called Haversian canal. Now, what is the function of this Haversian canal? This Haversian canal carries the blood vessels through the bone to nourish the cells embedded within the tissue. Around the Haversian canals, rings of bone tissue are found. The rings of bone tissue are called lamellae. I just told you rings of bone tissue, lamellae. Within these rings, the space is called lacunae, and that lacunae consists of osteocytes. Radiating out of these lacunae are tiny channels that allow interaction of the cell within the blood supply and exchange of nutrient gases called canaliculi. Okay, and then canal of Volkman connects various Haversian canal system all together. Canal of Volkman connects various Haversian canal system together. In the center of compact bone, bone marrow cavity is present, which is filled with yellow bone marrow. Remember one thing, compact bone marrow has a bone marrow cavity which is filled with the yellow bone marrow, while spongy bone, here you will see a web-like matrix rather than solid with number of spaces in between. All spongy bone also known as trabeculae. It is found, the spongy bone is mainly found in the epiphysis of long bone. And what is important about the spongy bone is that it lacks Haversian canal and Volkman canal. This is the major difference between the compact bone and the spongy bone. The spongy bone contains red bone marrow, and compact bone contains yellow bone marrow, and this red bone marrow forms RBC and WBC. Now let's talk about our liquid connective tissue, which is blood. Blood is called as the connective tissue because it has a matrix. Okay, so blood, you will see some living cells like red blood cells which become red blood cells which are living, but they will lack a nucleus. These are also called erythrocyte. White blood cells are also known as leukocytes. Major portion of whole blood is matrix and is called plasma. The cell found in greatest abundance in blood are erythrocytes. These are responsible for transport of gases and other nutrients. Erythrocytes are of same size in a species, but their size may vary among different species. Mammals lose erythrocyte nuclei and mitochondria when these erythrocytes are released from the bone marrow, and erythrocytes are formed where? In bone marrow. But when they are released from this bone marrow, they lose their nuclei and mitochondria. In fish, amphibian and avian red blood cells, there you will see the nuclei even after they are released from the bone marrow. Okay, the principal job of erythrocyte is to carry and deliver oxygen to tissue. What is the principal job of an erythrocyte? Because it carry and deliver oxygen to tissues. Okay. And now talk about leukocytes. We know about erythrocytes. Now let's talk about leukocytes, also known as white blood cells. What are they going to do? Some of them are going to defend your body against some infectious diseases and pathogen. Okay, see, you will mainly see 5 different type of leukocytes. Okay, and they are the product of multipotent cells in the bone marrow known as hematopoietic stem cells. Leukocytes are found throughout the body, including blood and lymphatic system. Hematopoietic cell give rise to all types of cell. Okay, all types of cell arises from hematopoietic cells. Okay, in bone marrow, red blood cells are produced from the bone marrow. They are also arises from the hematopoietic cells. Different types of lymphocyte make antibodies. Okay, but lymphocytes. See, Leukocytes are granulocytes and agranulocytes. The leukocyte which has granules in them, these are known as granulocytes, and other doesn't have granules, they are known as agranulocytes. Agranulocytes includes lymphocytes and monocytes, while granulocytes include neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. Different type of lymphocytes like B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. B lymphocytes are responsible for the production of antibodies, while T lymphocyte provide the cell mediated immunity and also help the B lymphocyte in the formation of antibodies. And monocytes, which are another type of agranulocytes, and these are the cells which are found in the peripheral blood, and these are phagocytic in nature. Okay, these monocytes give rise to macrophages, and these macrophages clean up dead and damaged cells in the body, whether they are foreign or from the host animals. Next come our granulocyte. First one is neutrophils. These are also phagocytosis, and these neutrophils form the first line of defense. Okay, then comes our additional leukocyte, two additional granulocyte, eosinophil and basophils. These are going to help to facilitate the inflammatory responsible. Now remember function of each and every of the leukocyte. Okay, then comes the third one, which is slightly granular. Okay, and these are called platelets or thrombocytes. Okay, platelets, what is the function of platelets? They are going to do what? They are going to cause the coagulation of blood, to stop bleeding through the damaged blood vessel, because they activate the blood clotting factors, which will then result in the coagulation of blood, and the bleeding will be stopped. Blood has a number of functions, but primarily it transports material through the body to bring nutrients to the cells and remove waste material from the cells. This is all about the connective tissue. If you want to prepare for CSIR NET June 2021, you can take the subscription of an academy. Here you have the detail of paid classes on your screens, and you can use the referral code NEHA, which is the referral code of Neha Tanisha ma'am, so that you will be able to get the 10% off from this fee which you are seeing on the screen. And you must have heard about about the increment of the fee, like from 25 December onward there will be a hike in the fee structure. Okay, go there, follow Neha Taneja ma'am. She is going to mentor you. She will be definitely help you in a much better way. Okay, but along with this, we are also trying to help you. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Join us wherever you want. If you want to join us, just click on the description box, and there you will get the links for our different platforms. Click on them and you will be there with us. Thank you. Stay safe. Take care.